we are going to talk about One Piece, chapter 11, 56, 65. I forgot. Anyway, you see the title. So, we start off where the last one left off, like always. And, well, actually, no, it's slightly different. This is from a completely different character's perspective, okay? The same thing is going on, but this is a different character's perspective at this point. We see Frankie reacting to what's happening on the other side of Elbaf, okay? Because he sees Loki in the sky, and he said, "Hey, what type of party's going on over there?" Okay, so then he starts talking to Lilith. He asks her what she's doing because he sees her messing around with the box that Vegapunk was in last time, or at least presumably, right? I forgot if that was like a surefire thing or if she just told them Vegapunk was in here or whatever. I forgot. I think she said Vegapunk was in there, right? So he says, "What is this?" And she says, "These are the Omni Drainer converters." Okay, and we're going to get into exactly what it is later. But right now, those are the Omni Drainer converters. Okay, obviously, they mean they're draining multiple things and converting it into something else. We're going to find out what that is, right? So she starts mentioning all these things out loud that Frankie and obviously Bonnie they don't know what she's talking about how there's enough energy in the air, you can feel it. And then she asks Frankie an important question. Have you ever run off of a more potent fuel than cola? Frankie has never ran off of any fuel other than cola, right? And I feel like, damn, that's right. I never even thought about that. Frankie's only been running off of cola. And so, on one hand, this whole time we've kind of been under the impression that the cola is just a regular, straight up, legitimate fuel source, right? Nobody else is using that shit, but Frankie's running around using cola, hitting people with strong arm lefts and strong rights and shit, right? Strong left, strong right. The fucking Sunny flies in the air with cola power, right? You never really questioned the quality or tier, like what tier is cola on the scale. We thought that was like just beyond oil and gasoline and electric power. That's what it felt like. It felt like it was beyond all of that, right? All the regular conventional energy sources to power machines and shit, right? Frankie is apparently using some stuff that is not the best energy, and there are multiple different types of energy out there that he could have been using in the first place, given, what Vegapunk said. Now, I could just be inferring all of that. I mean, it could feel like to me that that's what she's inferring. And I might be taking it from there, but I feel like that means that him, and obviously this is something that Oda just added to, right? He just added this, but this is a nice way. This is my point. This is a really nice way to add Frankie getting stronger without it having to be some sort of like training arc where he has to change his body completely, get new parts. No, he's changing his fuel source because he's been using the wrong fuel source. Okay, he is close to pacifistas, like Lilith said. He said his body's not too dissimilar from a pacifista. Okay, his insides and all of that. He can shoot lasers. I don't know how far it goes. I don't know what he did with his brain and some of his organs, right? Did he replace his stomach with something that can consume fuel? Because, your stomach is your natural fuel consumer anyway, right? But anyway, I'm going off topic. So, it's a nightmare world. The whole world's coming to an end today, is what Usopp is bellowing out from the top of the peaks of the mountains of Elbaf. What he should be doing up there is putting in work, okay? He should be shooting seeds into the sky that are making little mini rain clouds or shit. Some shit, I don't know. A little umbrella leaf that makes rain fall from it. There you go. But anyway, did you see that dragon is bigger than Kaido, says Usopp. Now, first of all, we know Usopp isn't blind. We know he is he has good judgment with that sort of stuff, right? So, yeah, I wonder how much bigger, right? I feel like Kaido he would look like a rope. He would like a rope in Loki's hands as a dragon. Even regular Kaido's hands, he'd probably fit in his palm, but like he would take up the entire palm instead of like the human like Luffy, who's only in like a small part of his palm. Kaido could take up his whole palm. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how big Kaido is, but he's still smaller than Loki, so it doesn't matter how big he is. Anyway, so Usopp notices that Luffy is on the back of that dragon, and he's saying that dragon's huge as fuck. Like, but hold on, wait, Luffy's on that dragon, so is the dragon on our side, right? He's pondering all this, going back and forth. Nobody else has time, right? So the fire that we just talked about, I didn't talk about a fire yet. My bad, getting ahead of myself. So there's a fire going on, right? That's what they're looking at, because he's talking about the world is about to end, and we see Robin and the rest of the crew, like Jinbei and Nami. They're running, well, specifically Nami and Jinbei. They're running to go do something. Nami's trying to get Zeus ready, right? And it slowly starts getting pieced together, obviously, as the chapter goes. And we see that they're all in a panic to stop this library being on fire, okay? Oda sets it all up in these couple of panels. We don't really know what's going on for a couple seconds, because the scene is just going back to them. If this was playing on the anime, it would work beautifully, right? So it's showing them, and then the big reveal, or the semi-big reveal, is Nami saying, okay, here we go. After we're checking on everybody, we see Saul saying, I gotta get up. Jinbei's like, oh, can we do this, whatever? What did he say? I don't know what the hell Jinbei said. It's quite fearsome, but we should hurry, especially if the children are out of harm's way now. Yeah, he's like, let's go. Critical mission. Stop the fire in Elbaf. Okay, that's what Nami is trying to do. And she has Zeus in the air with so much rain cloud water, or wherever he got it from, just the atmosphere in general. He has so much water inside of him. It's ridiculous. He's huge as hell, right? And they're in a giant, like, village, and he's like big enough to put out fires or be bigger than a house for giants. A giant's house is bigger than them, right? You know what I mean? So he's able to put out fires in a giant's house. Crazy. And we have Nami doing her pouring rain tempo, right? New move that she has, or I don't know, this might not be new, but it's the new edition of it because Zeus is so huge. This is the Elbaf rain temple. Oda should have did something like that. Giant rain temple, right? So, Robin's egging them on to hurry. She's cheering them on. And Zeus is really putting in work trying to make the fire go out. He's like yelling at the fire. And here comes Killingham saying, you guys are breaking the deal. You're supposed to let your history die. Okay, only if your history dies, only when your history dies, can the new world begin, right? Can a new history start? The old history's gone, a new one can start, right? You promised to cast aside the history of the world. So they are rescinding that promise to cast aside all the books and all that stuff, because the main deterrent from stopping them was the fact that the children were hostages. Now that deterrent is out of the way, they can do whatever they want to fight these intruders, okay? And even kill people if they wanted to. But Saul notices this Lindworm, this big stupid dummy worm, coming on over, because this is what Killingham used to stop Zeus from putting the water out. It bit Zeus and ate him, okay? And Sanji's saying that was our one hope of putting the fire out. Who is that? Is that one of the three demons? Okay, this is what Jinbei's saying. He thinks he's one of the three demons, right? And okay, hold on, let me go back real quick. So yeah, we switch scenes real quick. Not entirely, but they're wondering what the hell they're gonna do. We see these discs that Lilith had, the Omni converters, okay? She's telling them to collect heat energy in particular. And I thought she was just gonna put the fire out, like collecting the fire, but no, she is collecting the fire, but she's collecting all heat energy. So she basically has a thermal converter, or like a thermal absorption mechanism. Like she's absorbing all the heat so much that there's no more heat left. It's becoming below zero. Everything started freezing. It's getting below zero, right? It's going all the way down there. So with the absence of heat, it will be cold, right? If there's no heat there, if nothing could ever be warm, if the sun went out, everything will start freezing. You know what I mean? It would get so cold. That's just the nature. That's the laws of nature. Like, things get cold, and when things start getting cold, they freeze. Or, you know what I mean? So she absorbed all of the heat out of the whole environment, and she's storing it inside of those little circles. Okay. And this is about to get into the wild part. See, that's why earlier I was mentioning fire, because I had to mention it there when she was absorbing the flames, which I thought was pretty fucking crazy. But the flames got put out instantly, okay? And I think Jinbei was in this water right here. Okay, that makes more sense. He was in this water right here trying to put that shit out. Took too fucking long, Jinbei. So, yeah, the thermal converter froze all of the environment. So, not knowing how this happened, Robin questions it, and not Jinbei, Saul is like, man, it doesn't fucking matter. We're good. Let's go. So, we got Vegapunk giving, I was about to call him Jake or Johnny. We got Vegapunk giving Frankie, okay? Frankie is super cola boost. He has a super cola boost, right? There you go, Frankie. Try using that. Boom. He's tipping up the bottle, and he's gonna have that super Frankie boost that he's been wanting. He sounds like Piccolo after he had a power up. Say, yes, I can do it. I can win. Fight. I'm the man. I'm that dude. He's just talking all sorts of shit about himself, right? Like, yeah, I can do it. So that's basically what Frankie went through. Vegapunk is telling him that, you've been designed just as advanced as the pacifistas. I gave you the Super Vega Cola, and I'm stunned to know that you only use cola to power yourself, because this passion fuel that she just made can bring out his raw power, okay? Because she said fuel is passion. He is getting a power boost under the guise of the fact that he's just been nerfing himself this whole time, basically because he's been drinking cola. That's basically his power boost. Is not a power boost. See, no, that's not the right way. Frankie is not getting a power boost. He's getting his limiters taken off. He's getting his potential released, right? That's all that's happening with him. He's getting his potential released. He's not evolving, or maybe that's the wrong word, because maybe, getting a potential release could be looked at evolving. It could be looked at as evolving for some people. But anyway, I'm digressing, right? He's getting his potential released. It's slightly different. He's not getting a power boost, he's getting a power boost, but it's not like a direct training, physical transformation thing. Like, I just got stronger because I lifted these weights, right? The power was always within him. He was limited. So they're getting to the library, right? And Saul is tired as fuck. He can barely run. So the sleep Ted is being ordered to devour the library because it's faster and bigger than Saul. So killing him is talking all this stuff about the end of the world and birthing a new one, and how the history needs to be wiped out, because obviously Emu does not want the history, the knowledge of the past, to be out there and existing, right? So Jinbei tries to put the fire out now. This is the stuff I was talking about earlier, but I didn't get to the panel yet. So killing him is discriminating against Jinbei. He's got some prejudice right there against Jinbei because he's a fish man. He thinks he's disgusting. Ironic that he transformed into like a fish man with his devil fruit, and he's talking shit about Jinbei, right? He literally turned into a seahorse. Unless correct me if I'm wrong or mistaken, but he turned to a seahorse. But anyway, Sanji didn't like it. He said, just the type of mindset I'd expect from a celestial dragon. Because you talking shit like that to somebody on our crew who's also a warlord of the sea, he's putting respect on Jinbei's name, and he crushed the skull. He said, I'm gonna break that mask. You're stupid. Broke that shit, okay? Sanji was not playing around. So then we get the scene. He didn't do it yet, but yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. But Frankie, after his cola boost, is powering up, flying in the air, ready to punch a monster. Okay. And then we got Fishman Karate Secret Art from Jinbei. He told Nami that he can punch Zeus out of the monster because the monster swallowed him. He said, I could just punch him in the gut and that'll take care of him, right? It should be able to take care of him. And we got Sanji breaking that skull like he promised. And I'm going to try to like get those panels in the frame without copyright, you know? But we got the Dexter smack, right? We got Frankie doing that shit, punching a hole in the monster's face. I didn't even notice that part either. He punched a hole in his face. I thought he just smushed it up to his cheek. He punched a hole in the monster's face. Jinbei punched the monster in the gut so crazy with his shockwave attack. It's not destruction like Frankie. It's not going to blow somebody up, but boom, it managed to get, I was going to call him the ghost. It managed to get this dude Zeus out of a tough spot. So let me go on, keep looking on. Sanji breaking skulls. Okay, what else do you expect from him? I don't think there's much to say about that, but we get into one of the interesting parts of the chapter. Now let me talk about this. This is the part that I really thought was interesting, right? So we go back to Dory and Broggy. This whole time they've been just standing on the side like fodder, right? They weren't important till the camera was back on them. So they keep talking about how no matter how much they cut these people, they can't stop them, right? Now, I got a couple things to talk about this, right? Essentially, Dory and Broggy get their consciousness back for a second. I don't know if it's due to pure willpower or just being tired. But they are tired and they do have willpower, so it's up in the air. It could be either one, right? Same thing with Rocks. He got injured enough, he's able to talk for a second. They are speaking to each other to make a plan to kill each other, right? They do not want to be controlled and being told to say the things that are being said to achieve jaw rule and the way they're trying to kill people. They don't want all that, right? So they say, we're going to go out with pride because we're warriors of Elbaf. We go out on our own terms. And they cut each other's heads off, right? They cut each other's heads off, and Zoro, by the way, was looking panicked as hell. I thought he had both his eyes open. I'm not going to lie to you. But something strange happens, right? Now, I don't know how I feel about this exactly, but it makes me question Rocks, which I'm going to get into for a second. But this Domi reverse aid, both of their heads got cut off, and then the ground flipped upside down, and they're just back to normal. They're just there. Their bodies even laying opposite ways. It's almost like Emu, like it's like he didn't turn them into somebody else. It's almost like he replaced them. You know what I mean? Like that really wasn't Dory and Broggy. Like Dory and Broggy were somewhere else. That was really somebody else right there. I mean, obviously they're gonna remember it, but it feels like the way this happened, they got flipped underneath, and there was another them on the other side. That's crazy to me. There's another them on the other side, basically just ready to be flipped. That's ridiculous. So that means like the other them was not on the surface world. It wasn't in. It's almost like if your shadow came out, you'd have to go back and into the shadow and pretend to be the shadow. You know what I'm saying? If your shadow was a living thing, and the shadow stood up, well, you'd have to then become the shadow. You'd have to be, because it's like one can't exist without the other. So I don't know what the hell's going on here. This was kind of interesting. And then about Rocks, it makes me think, well, if this happened to them, right, through pure power and damage being done to them, there's still a chance Rocks could be alive or something of that similar nature, because How the fuck does Garp? I mean, I know we were told that they kind of destroyed him, right? But just like Dory and Broggy said, no matter how mangled up somebody's body is, they'll turn back to themselves if they're killed. They killed Rocks in his Domi Reverse form. I'm pretty sure, right? So why would he not be alive? If Oda just forgot about that, I'd be surprised. Other than that, he's got to be setting something else with that, setting something up with that shit, right? He's got to be setting something up with that, and that's just kind of crazy. Like they just got flipped and became normal again, and it's like two of them on each side or whatever, right? That's what it felt like. We didn't clearly see another one of them, but there's a shadow there, obviously, like flipping them, right? They're getting flipped back. So, yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, yeah, so that makes me wonder what happened to Rocks, because like Rocks, did the rules change a little bit? Because when he got Domi Reverse, the ground didn't flip. He just got changed in the air. So was that how he got replaced right then? You know, quote unquote replaced, right? Because the theory about having two different bodies, I just said that. You know, obviously, it's probably still just dumb, but the flip made me feel like there was like another them underneath there waiting to be just flipped so they can just, go back to normal. So after they realize that they can do this, they can kill people, Dory and Broggy open up a new way for these warriors, right? They're all super happy that they get to kill these people, and that even, they're their friends, but they're happy they get to kill, right? Zoro even said, so we could do whatever we want. He's getting swept up in the Elbaf nature. I think Elbaf will fuck with Zoro a whole lot because he's like them, right? Even Harden's like, yeah, we get to kill him. We get to inflict fatal damage to turn it back to normal, yeah. Okay, it's like chopping their heads off. They said, come on, I don't think we could do that. Like, stabbing them through the heart, no, they're still our comrades. But they do not care. Every face in this panel does not care about any of that. They're extremely happy that they get to cut all of these people's heads off. They get to cut and fight and break and kill without actually having to kill anybody. They get to feel the kill, right? They get to feel the kill without the kill being real. They get to feel the kill without it being real. There you go. That's what they like to do. So I don't know. This video was different though. As you can see, the fucking layout was different. I tried to record this video my best. I think I'm gonna trim this part out, upload it as a video, and I'm gonna see y'all on my next video. I won't make no promises because, hey, if it doesn't happen, that's on me. But until then, I'm gonna see y'all around. Peace.